Dugan.
Okay, can everybody hear me? All right. Good morning.
Good morning.
I like to think of your mind as a whiteboard. When you're born, it's completely blank. It's pristine and beautiful. It has absolutely no marks on it and will be the place where every single one of your thoughts, opinions, ideas, and beliefs are written down on. Granted, this whiteboard is probably bigger than the entire universe, but we're just going to ignore that. When you grow up, the people who raise you pick up a marker and slowly begin to write down their ideas and beliefs about every aspect of life onto your whiteboard. These, in turn, become your beliefs, and you have absolutely no reason to question them. Why should you? These are the people who are teaching you how life works and everything good in the world. You trust them, and you have no reason not to. Going to school for the first time brings a change to your whiteboard. As children, we're extremely susceptible to the beliefs and opinions of those around us. This opens up newfound doubts in our minds, and unfortunately, those doubts brought on by other children are transferred onto our whiteboard. When I was growing up, I was taught that the most important thing in life was to be happy. That's what was centered and in bold on my whiteboard. Be happy. The things I found that made me happy were playing with Polly Pockets, dressing up like Disney princesses, playing baseball with the boys who I lived next door to, and my stuffed animals. I picked up a marker and wrote these activities surrounding the words, be happy. However, it was in second grade when things started to change. That was the first time that other children picked up a marker and wrote on my whiteboard. One day, a classmate of mine told me that dressing up like Disney princesses was something that only babies did, and I should stop. I didn't understand because my parents told me to do the things that made me happy, but I didn't question it. She wrote that on my whiteboard, and I proceeded to go home that day and tell my dad to put all my princess bed sheets, pillowcases, and outfits into storage. I was also told that year that I shouldn't bring in my stuffed animals to school because that wasn't what cool kids did. This was also written onto my whiteboard, and without questioning it, I stopped. In third grade, I was told that baseball was only something that boys played, and I shouldn't be allowed to play it. The next time my neighbors asked me if I went to play, I said no, and stopped playing with them. Later that year, I was told that no one played with Polly Pockets anymore. All of my Pollies were packed up in a box and put into the basement. Everything that I once knew to make me happy was slowly replaced with the words, no. That's not normal, and you're not cool. This all escalated at the end of fourth grade, when even the clothes I wore were commented on because they weren't what everybody else was wearing. As I entered fifth grade at the tender age of 10, I found myself being criticized by others even more. For every picture I drew, every word I spoke, or every action I did, it seemed like I couldn't do anything without being judged. Everything I once knew to make me happy was shot down and criticized by others, and I was too afraid to be myself. If you knew me back then, you can probably attest to the fact that I was shy. I felt that people didn't like who I was, so I became extremely introverted. I shied away from people because whenever I seemed to get close, I would be criticized. For the entire 4 years I was in middle school, I found myself in the nurse's office at least once a week, trying to describe a pain that I couldn't even locate. Sometimes I would fake sickness and go to the nurse to get out of situations when I felt like I was under attack from the scrutinizing eyes and words of the middle schoolers. I felt like I was worth nothing. I was horribly unhappy, and people continually asked me day after day, why do you look so sad? Now, like all stories, mine has a turning point. It's not like there was an immediate transformation. In fact, it took more than 3 years. But I remember the moment as clear as day. It was at camp the summer before 7th grade, and I was going to lunch. 4 little girls asked me if I would sit with them, so of course I said yes. I was holding the hand of one little girl. She must have only been 6 at the time, and she told me these words. Molly, when I get older, I want to be just like you. And you know how I responded to that? I said, no you don't. She proceeded to ask me why not, and I had no answer for her. Years later, I realized that I couldn't bear the thought of an innocent, naive little girl going through what I had and being as unhappy as I was. I couldn't even receive the compliment. The people who wrote the phrases of disapproval on my whiteboard made me believe that I had absolutely no redeeming qualities about myself. I had no belief in myself and wasn't able to believe anybody who told me otherwise. And what for? Because of the foolish things that kids told me that all added up to, you don't fit in. It's amazing, and it still astounds me today, how I let words break me. I closed myself off and didn't let anyone else pick up a marker, because what else was there left to scrutinize? I remember at one point I thought that if I couldn't stop then, I should just join them. I made my parents buy me UGG boots and a Coach wallet in my attempt to fit in. Yet, when I walked out of the Coach outlet store with that small golden wallet that my mom spent well over $100 on, I felt one of the worst guilts in my life. I didn't even like it, but I felt that I needed it. I was tempted to tell her to return it before we left the store. The most horrible part about this phase was that the scrutinies from others decreased. However, although people may not have criticized me as much, I criticized myself even more, because the only time I was being accepted was when I wasn't myself at all. Where's the redemption in a society that values uniformity? Where's the redemption in a society that instills values to repress individuality? Where's the redemption in a society that discriminates against people who don't believe in the same things that you do? Where's the redemption in a society that breaks you down by the time that you're 10 years old? I'll tell you where it is. It's in the people that don't value these things. Maybe it was years later when the damage had been done, but I got redemption through becoming close with people who encourage toleration and originality. The lessons I learned from these amazing people changed me as a person. These are the people that got to know me, accepted me, and believed in me before I did, or when I felt no one could. They helped me pick up an eraser and clear off the words that once haunted me. They got me to the point in my life where I choose who and what I want to be. These are the people that helped me pick up a marker and write down my own values. I'm not the same person who walked into this auditorium 3 years ago. I've learned that a true friend doesn't try and change you. A true friend will stick by your side and will inspire you to be the best person that you can be. I've learned how to use my voice as means for sticking up for myself. Your voice is a tool. Your voice is also a privilege. The words that you say can have a profound effect on someone else. Don't be the reason for someone's unhappiness. Don't be the reason for someone's misery. And do not be the reason for someone's isolation. I want to make it clear right now that this speech isn't about stop saying mean things. I realize that people say careless things that they may or may not mean, and they probably don't even realize that their words impact the way other people live their lives. What I truly want this to come down to is one word: you. You get to choose how you let other people's words affect you. You have the power to shape your own life. You get to choose how you respond to other people's opinions. Though other people may influence it, the way you live your life ultimately comes down to you. You will always have a choice. We have the power to shape our own life and the ones around us. How will you choose to shape yours? Thank you.